Okay, let's see if we can end this campaign this time. Then we move on to the next campaign in this game. A campaign that I have notably not finished recording yet, and have paused recording the game as a whole for a good few months now. As I said, I'm partly using this Let's Play as a way to force myself to actually complete this game for the first time. And you're the man that's all too willing to kill his own kin, but decided to do so in your twilight years. You could have tried taking over back before your hair turned grey, you know? Well, regardless of which way things go here, you're gonna be in charge of Galen for the rest of your life. The only question is, will that be another few minutes or a decade or two? Good to see we dodged that one. And that with Lynn, the Lance Reaver does more damage than Sane or Kent with their spears. I still wish that Dorcas was able to reliably finish the job, though. But we've already lost him once against this bastard. I'm not about to risk him again if I can help it. I'm sure this game would be significantly less frustrating if I wasn't so damn protective of absolutely everyone we have. Oh dear, definitely gonna need to get Lucius out of there if we want to avoid him getting killed in the second strike. Oh, I definitely like the stroke of luck that the bastard missed there. Fingers crossed that luck is on our side for the rest of the clip. I suppose a truly great tactician wouldn't need luck to get things done, and I am trying to limit how much we need to lean on it. Still, I feel like I want an obscene amount of luck to get out of this mess. Dear God, I should not feel like the one who's been cornered, when we're the one with an army and he's standing alone in one square in a castle. Urk, you've done enough. I'm literally just having Nils do some dancing for the sake of having Nils dance a bit more. It's not like it wastes a resource other than time. Yeah, not even gonna bother shooting any arrows at Lundgren. Again, the bastard is just a completely different species compared to all the regular enemies we run into in a given mission. For a second there, I thought Lucius would get the finishing blow on him, but I suppose it's more appropriate for the story that Lynn be the one to finish him off. He is, after all, her central villain. And that does it. Lynn finishes off the campaign in second place with 29 kills. Well, clearly she didn't savage you badly enough if you're able to keep speaking. And how I wish this was a more emotional moment outside of us finishing the campaign, but that would require better storytelling than we've seen here. Quite the impressive level up there, though, Lynn. If only all of them were that good. Now, all that's left to do is to get Lynn to seize that throne that Lundgren was standing on, and we'll officially get mission complete. those clouds don't matter since we're done here anyway. Take shelter in the home of your grandfather, Lynn. It's time you finally met the family you thought you never had. I'm sure it'll be an emotional moment for you, personally. I'm just glad that this job is done. Not the game as a whole, just the starting campaign. And good God, just how many more clips is this game going to need before we are done with it? Sorry it took me so long to get you here, Lynn. Still, I hope you enjoyed the journey, and I'm sure we got here on time. Considering you're generic as all hell, I'm pretty sure you're not going to be seen again in the next campaign. I suppose he had absolutely no trouble doing so, and there were no objections among the knights still here. Hell, are there still any knights of Galen left other than Sane and Kent at this point, considering we killed 171 people to get this far into this Let's Play? Granted, a good number of those kills were bandits, and we did have to redo a few missions so some people are counted twice, but still, if anyone gets the idea to invade this kingdom, there's gonna be a bit of a manpower shortage. Kind of wish there were more physical similarities between Lynn and her grandfather, though for some reason I didn't give a damn about that sort of thing with Lundgren, her granduncle. Frankly, her grandfather could fade into a crowd while she's so much more distinct. It's hard to say her grandfather was considered in any way important when they were making this game. And that feels pretty off since this guy here has been her main goal for the majority of this campaign. Are your eyes not working, sir? People have said she looks a lot like her mother, so... Ah, so he's just nearsighted. Not that this style of cutscene really tells you where they are in relation to one another, or even what the layout of the room is. Ah, there we go. I'm kinda surprised Lynn isn't hugging him back in this picture. It's not like she has to worry about the blood of Lundgren getting all over the man when she hugs him or something. Her hands are as remarkably clean as her clothes, considering she was fighting in melee, in the rain, and probably running around in mud to get here. So long as you don't go on some crazed vengeance quest that ruins your life against those bandits, that doesn't really matter anymore, Lynn. That pain is in the past, and you most definitely aren't alone anymore. Oh, I'm sure there would still be bandits, but maybe the circumstances would have changed enough that the bandits wouldn't have slaughtered the entire tribe. Not that those kinds of what-ifs really matter all that much. Well, as much peace as you can get when you're a nomadic tribeswoman and are trained to some degree with a blade. Though now I can't help wishing that Lynn had some kind of sensei character with her. Not that this bare-bones story would have been able to do all that much with a teacher of some kind, considering the very basic narrative we went through just to get here. I'm just thinking of some of the various ways this story could have been fleshed out, so this would actually feel like a more heartwarming major moment. As it is, the sheer lack of character development and character interactions in this game really makes this big grandfather meeting granddaughter for the first time moment lose a lot of its potential steam. Ah, well, as I told Lord Housen, deal with what you've got instead of consuming yourself with what-ifs. I don't suppose on the plains that they'd give out some various medicines and remedies to help out said strong heart, did they? Well, I'm probably not gonna be there for most of your conversations. If anything, I don't feel like I belong here for this conversation. Considering the sheer number of bandits in the plains these days, that might not be a good idea regardless of if he's healthy or not. Besides, he's got a kingdom to run and rebuild after his brother's attempt to usurp the throne. I don't feel like that gives you a lot of vacation days to go off to an entirely different country. Well, it's not like she's got anywhere else in mind to go anytime soon. I'm sure it will take quite a while for any kind of wanderlust to consume her here. I'll take the doctor's word for it. It's not like the game designers gave him a different speaking sprite for when he's healthy again. He's gonna look the exact same all the time, just like everyone else around here. Some would say he's already had a long life considering he got old enough to become a grandfather. How many more decades do you think he's got left in him? Good to hear, but I'm sure that was somehow supposed to sound like a larger accomplishment than it feels like to me. I'm sure there are settings where that kind of propriety isn't really needed. Not really sure why Lynn felt the need to have an exclamation mark there, though maybe my mental reading of the dialogue between these two characters is a bit off, since, well, it's not like the game really showed us all that much from Florina in terms of dialogue after the mission where we recruited her. Again, it's hard for a story's ending to feel all that heartwarming if there wasn't any character development and interactions to be seen on the way to this point. Are those two the only pair from the Legion staying? I know our character is going to be moving on now that the job is done, hence why there's going to be a next campaign. That would have had more impact if pretty much everyone else from the Legion wasn't leaving. Yeah, though we're definitely gonna see each other again at some point. I suppose I'll miss you too, for whatever that's worth. You aren't kidding. I kind of wouldn't mind if the credits started rolling once we finish with our goodbyes here. But no, we are 20 clips in, and we only just managed to finish the tutorial campaign. The actual main story will begin in the next clip. Well, I don't have that much faith, but then I remember both times I ended up getting Dorcas killed on our way here. From your perspective, things went about as close to perfect as possible. you will. There's plenty of game left to go. And while you won't be the central character again, I'll definitely appreciate having another journey with you when you finally join in. Okay, so apparently the game kept track of some things over the course of the campaign. Not sure what the things in the L category mean, since in my opinion the only losses are when people are outright taken down, and I don't think Kent was ever taken down. I've got to admit though, I do like seeing some information of how everyone's doing now that the journey with them is over, even if we didn't really feel all that connected to anyone other than Lynn herself. And that's only because she was there for the entire campaign. I also can't help noticing that the portraits that are going by in the background have nothing to do with the text that is scrolling by. They're just little snapshots of the journey as a whole. Well, of course Sarah doesn't have anything on her record. She's not a combatant. She's the goddamn medic! Well, I'll be damned. For some reason, Raph's W score is higher than the kill score I have recorded for him. I'm not sure why that would be the case, considering everyone else has a higher number of kills than the wins that the game ends up saying. Did I miscount somewhere? Right. Of course the two that have mysterious people chasing after them decide to leave in a hurry. Excuse me for feeling that the siblings would have been safer staying with Lynn, even if that wasn't a permanent solution. Well, of course it only made him hungry for battle. We didn't let him get personally involved in any of the action. How frustrating would it be for someone to come out of retirement and then get put on the bench to see everyone else struggling to get the job done? It would have been nice to see Lynn's face in the background as her entry finally rolled up instead of things just turning into a black screen. Were there pictures missing from the slideshow there? Well, of course she is. Sooner or later the Wanderlust is gonna prompt her to leave the castle behind. But I'm sure she'll wait until her grandfather passes on, for his sake at least. That's gonna be a bit awkward for the kingdom since, well, there aren't any other heirs. Well, not our problem. If this was a second playthrough, we'd have a choice of Elliewood or someone else. I'm sorry to say that Elliewood isn't as capable of keeping me going as Lynn is, so getting all the way to the end of the game is certainly gonna be quite a trial. Still, I'm willing to give it a shot, hence why I'm still here. Hey, I'm treating losing anyone as a game over. That's part of what's making this game feel more stressful than it probably needs to be. Well, of course not. Defeat means death.